Hello and welcome to Movies on the Side. This is Stephen Robles.
And this is Nate Baranowski.
And today we're in a bit of a Spider-Man mood. You know, Across the Spider-Verse is out in theaters, but we're going all the way back, and reviewing the 2002 original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire today on Movies on the Side. Spider-Man. 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 That wasn't very good. I didn't get the notes right. Spider-Man. Nate, I feel like this is a...
Spider-Dash-Man.
Spider-Dash-Man. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I forgot the dash. Brought to you by Moxie Hotels is what Nate was going to say. But you have to listen to our bonus episode to get that. Maybe you weren't going to say that. Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway.
I wasn't going to say that at all.
You were
I was actually going to say
it
came from a time in 2002 where everyone went to the theaters, and this movie broke $100 million in opening weekend in theaters. It was the highest grossing opening box office of any movie, even adjusting for inflation up to that point.
Really?
This was a movie that many, many people saw. On day one, it was higher. On day two, it was highest.
Now, I could be wrong. I've not done a ton of research. Was this the first live-action Spider-Man movie?
There was a 1977 The Amazing Spider-Man. I believe it was a TV show, though, and it was live action. No. And I saw the trailer on IMDb, and let me tell you,
no.
That Spider-Man, not as athletic.
No.
But with some great 70s hair.
Wow. This, I feel, listen, what I really want to get to is eventually us talking about the three Spider-Mans, namely Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. We're going to get to that.
We're going to rank. We're going to do
we're going to rank? I don't even know. I'm ready.
Definitive. Of Spider-Man. At the end of this episode, hold on and wait till we tell you exactly who is the best.
That's going to be a tough one. I'm going to have an answer no one's likes.
I'm not prepared for it as well. So
I'm not prepared. Rotten Tomatoes, what do you give 2002 Spider-Dash-Man?
2002 Spider-Dash-Man, directed by Sam Raimi. Who directed the horror movie
of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness fame.
I would say this movie got an 82.
It's close, a 90% critic score.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, audiences did not like it as much.
88.
It's 67% audience.
Whoa!
I feel like I don't know about Rotten Tomatoes in situations like this. I feel like might be some.
It might have been sort of an in-between time. Yeah, there's
retroactive.
Something.
Now I understand. Listen, we were going to talk about the whole trilogy, but we're not doing that today. Although I do want to mention, I think Spider-Man 2 is universally understood to be the best of the Tobey Maguire trilogy, which I would agree. I feel like Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, and like Spider-Man 2 is probably the best one of the three. But this one, 2002, I was in high school, Nate. You were just entering high school? Well, you were in high school too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This is like the first good superhero movie. Now, I know Batman is there. Batman Returns. I know there were those that existed.
Hold on a second. Let me see. X-Men maybe went to enter
X-Men was like a year before this, maybe. Maybe that was 2001. 2001?
Maybe.
There's a live searching X-Men.
This time of our lives.
Yes.
I don't know how it works for other people, but for our age, this hit us at the exact perfect time. This was DVDs.
This was it. DVD.
This was...
That's right.
This was the theaters were still a-poppin'.
Poppin'. You go to the mall. You go to the mall theater.
This
I never knew,
huge. This
X-Men,
was huge.
The first X-Men was 2000.
Okay.
2 years before this. And then X2 was 2003. So this Spider-Man slots right in between those first two.
Something very important happened in my life.
Oh?
This is very, very narrow casting because it's just about me at this point.
Sure.
But
that's all that matters. Let's be honest.
X-Men, the first X-Men, I was a little too young to be able to go see that in theaters.
Oh, okay.
And this one, I think I was the post-13. This one I did go see in theaters.
Yes.
So I think all my X-Men stuff came later. I believe X2 maybe came out this year as well.
X2 was 2003. X2 was very good.
This was a good, and then Batman Begins was like 2005 or 2006.
Yes. So
talk about like 3 or 4 years. This is pre-MCU.
Pre-MCU. These are good, like solid years.
On solid to
can
us.
Can I just say,
comic book movies.
Like when you look at movie franchises as a whole, I feel like the Spider-Man franchise has done the best at like honoring old Spider-Man movies, namely this one from 2002, like like all of the Spider-Man's movies, like all come together. And I recently saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters just now, and they even have like little clips and Easter eggs from this original trilogy of 2002 in the Across the Spider-Verse like animated film. And like I just love like the through line and how like, you know, there was a few moments where like the Amazing Spider-Man movies came out and it was like, is this a reboot? How does this relate? And then Tom Holland came out the gate and we were like, oh yeah, we like this Spider-Man better. And, you know, it was a little contentious there for a few years, but I feel like now, like it's just all love. Everyone just loves Spider-Man and they're all great.
Right. It
That's
really
what it
is. Like. I went to a comic convention this past week.
Right.
And
yes,
let me tell you,
yes,
Spider-Man of all varieties,
yes,
of
yes.
all Spider-Verses,
all shapes
of
and
different
sizes.
Peter Parkers, Miles Morales, everybody,
Right.
Gwen
Yes.
Stacy, were out in droves. I saw a lot of people doing the Spider-Man pointing.
Oh,
thing,
really? Oh,
posing
like
with other people
the three?
cosplaying.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But
Such a good meme.
it's big, and I think the Spider-Verse,
That's big.
you know, like that's been like a different thing, but also like very good movies that
Also
have made
kinda, like-
people like continue
so
to be
good.
interested in Spider-Man.
I'm gonna just
Okay,
say
I
right.
do have
I'm
to-
gonna, yeah.
Oh, remember?
I mean, well, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say, Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man because this was like our formative years, our adolescence. I'm not saying we'll rank them. We'll say who's the best at what, but Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just feels that way.
No,
I don't know.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, I would say maybe this first movie, even better than second movie, was like a really nice, relatable character that had the like, I truly believe you are not popular in school. And that's kind of hard to get across. I would say, for example, Tom Holland, I look at that guy and I never thought to myself, like, you were anything but like pretty cool and good looking and also 28.
I do have to
But
give
so
Tom
was
Holland.
Tobey Maguire.
Tom Holland actually looks like he could be in high school, whereas Tobey Maguire definitely never looked like he was high school age in this original trilogy.
I want to say the
don't-
first Spider-Man, I felt like I bought it, but I was also just
Maybe.
coming into high school and I was
Right,
a
and
freshman.
senior-
I didn't look
when
like
you're-
that, but
Like when you're a freshman in high school, seniors feel
looked
like
Tobey
they are.
Maguire looked to me.
They're like close to retirement. Like you look at a senior and you're like, you basically have 2 full-time jobs. Like I don't even know how
You
to
are
talk
growing
to
a full beard and I
Yeah,
cannot
exactly,
at all.
you. Right? There's just such a weird.
Something
age is
happens
weird.
during high school. We'll talk about it in a different bonus
No,
episode.
no, that's not. That's a bonus episode topic. But what were you gonna say before? You were saying.
Oh, I was
This.
just gonna say, like, where does Spider-Man as a superhero? We talked about Batman
Yes.
in the Christopher
yes.
Nolan trilogy last time. Where
Right.
does Spider-Man stand with you as far as just
Mm-hmm.
superheroes? Where does he rank to you?
I feel like if the question was what superhero would you want to be, I would probably never choose Spider-Man. Like I feel like there are like Doctor Strange or Thor. Like there are other Marvel and like superheroes that I would want their powers more.
He's not
But-
OP. He's not an OP superhero for
you
sure.
just said OP, mate.
But he's got
Where
that
did-
high
wait.
school
Where did you-
riz.
Where did you
He's-
hear OP? Where did you hear OP?
I'm from a gaming background. My video
yeah,
gaming.
you sound real
like,
gamey.
you
Yeah.
really like. Yeah, they
League
started
of
nerfing
Legends?
some of the superheroes in later iterations
okay.
of PlayStation 5, and so
Get
now
at it. No. You're not passing the litmus test. I don't think you're a gamer. But anyway, OP meaning overpowered. For our listeners who don't know what that is. But I feel like Spider-Man is maybe top 3, but possibly favorite one to like relate to and watch. Like I feel like Spider-Man is the most relatable, like actually has internal conflict about things, is like actually unsure of himself at times as real people are. Like I don't know, I feel like he is the most close to real life. Like if any superhero actually existed in the real world, Spider-Man seems to be the closest to what that would be than anything else. So I
Right.
don't know. Yeah, he's like the best. I don't know.
he's very relatable. One, because he's not an alien from another country, an alien from another planet.
Got to cut
Whoa.
that out. have to cut that out.
Alien from another planet. He is not
I'm going to bleep it. I'll censor bleep it.
super rich.
Right. He's not
So
Batman
he's not
or
Batman. Iron Man.
Iron Man, right. Exactly. Tony Stark. Right.
And before Tom Holland and maybe Andrew Garfield came around, where they made them more like the comics, because in the comics they always had the synthetic webs. And they made the web shooters, and Sam Raimi is like, listen, I would rather this just be an organic web thing, because I can't believe that a high schooler would be able to create synthetic webbing better than anything out there on the open market. So it's like, all right, if you're going to choose between two unbelievable things, I guess they've made Peter Parker a real genius, tech genius in both Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. But this Peter Parker is really just a guy. And he's relatively smart.
Yes. It did feel weird. Like, when I remember seeing this movie, because I watched the Spider-Man cartoon every day after school for many years. And that was a great cartoon. And it did throw me off when I saw this movie of like, wait a minute. It's like just coming out of his wrist. That's a little weird.
Don't think about that too much. Right.
No, don't think about it too much. Which, again, excellent callback in No Way Home when they said, like, does it come out of anywhere else? But anyway, that's just an excellent joke. That was a little controversial when this movie came out. But, yeah, it's great. So great. And then also, William Dafoe as Green Goblin as, like, the first villain.
Yeah, let's pause here.
Amazing to get him. I mean, he's an amazing actor. Like, I don't even know how they got him to do this, like, first, basically, like, proof of concept Spider-Man movie in 2002. And he was the Green Goblin, and he was, like, amazing. His face is very exaggerated at times.
There are a few jump scares in this movie. I think Sam Raimi, coming from that horror background, there are some genuinely scary moments in this movie with him breaking out of like the lab and kind of like becoming the Goblin, and the using the mirror, talking back and forth in the mirror.
Excellent.
Maybe right around Gollum time, or maybe slightly before. Sorry, Peter Jackson. Maybe you got it from.
Just now that you said like horror movie and Sam Raimi, I'm thinking of that scene in Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock is like coming alive after like all the arms get in, like he's like in that surgery room and everything. It just all comes together. It all makes sense now. It just makes sense.
Blocking people.
Yeah.
It's a really good mix of genuinely scary things, but done in maybe a more mainstream
comic booky.
For people like me who do not like horror movies, It's not too much.
I still have not watched Multiverse of Madness again, like straight through, because there's too many of those little like. I don't
a little more, a little more scary. This one was done more for the overall masses, but I do have to say, Willem Dafoe,
so good,
masterful performance. Like, truly the right amount of comic villain over the topness mixed with the connection with Harry Osborn, and it's great.
We have not done a romance corner in a long time, Nate.
Ooh.
We've not done it in a while, and I feel like now is the time.
All right.
Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst as Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Romance corner. I mean, we have them in this first movie. Then we have the whole trilogy. You can answer however you would like. How do you feel about the two of them in romance corner?
I think that it is great them together. I don't necessarily believe in their long-lasting, like, to me the romance corner fits with high school romance, or it fits maybe with college romance of like, I've always liked you. I believe I've liked you since we were teenagers, and Mary Jane's like, I know of your name, and
right, yeah, I've heard of you.
Basically, like, I'm mostly into Spider-Man. The upside down kiss in the rain is one of the most iconic screen kisses of all time. So that gets like massive bonus points.
Yes. It's very good.
Overall, I think it works okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Mary Jane as a character portrayed in these movies.
Interesting. Okay. I get it.
Kirsten Dunst said in an interview when they asked him, do you think Mary Jane knows that it's Peter Parker? When she first meets Spider-Man, there's some clues between the two that it's the same person. Right. And she's like, no, I don't think Mary Jane knows. I don't think Mary Jane's very bright. was like, whoa.
That's terrible.
Whoa.
That's hilarious.
I was actually a little bit, I'm more of a fan of Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone. As far as
the
love
Amazing
interest.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
made that
that's true.
catastrophe
That's
mean a little bit more than Mary Jane.
it did. It did.
But for what it was, I thought it was good.
good.
It could have been a little bit stronger, sure. But all right, romance corner for you. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I think in this first movie, it really works. I love just Tobey Maguire looking at her from afar, like the cafeteria scene where he like catches her and then like catches everything on the tray, like so good. Just like all those moments. The upside down kiss, excellent. Like all of it. It's very good. And I think it's a great moment. We're not talking about the trilogy, but Spider-Man 2, when she finally does like see him and is like knows it's him. I think it's a great payoff at that
Does
point.
this one, I'm trying to remember, does this one end, she doesn't know who he is, or she does and she's like, go get him, Tiger? Is that how this one ends?
No, that is Spider-Man 2, because she learns his identity when he's fighting Doc Ock.
Okay.
This one ends, differently. I think, I forget how. I think it's a funeral scene.
But differently.
There's a funeral scene. Oh, and when she kisses him or he kisses her at the end of the funeral scene, and then she like puts her hand to her mouth, like like she realizes something, and then she might realize
she realized, wait,
Spider-Man.
I've kissed that lip, but backwards.
Right. But upside down.
What do you? I mean, Uncle Ben, I think, is also the best in this one. The Uncle Ben death scene, which has been played out a million times.
Yeah, many times.
This is the one to watch, right?
It is the one to watch. I do like. He's an excellent Uncle Ben. Delivers the infamous line. I think the best. Great power comes great responsibility. Like, love all of that. Yes. 2 thumbs up. And I just want to say, the best casting, I think, maybe in any movie ever, is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is now J. Jonah Jameson forever. And is still, like, his voice, I think, is in Across the Spider-Verse as J. Jonah Jameson. So, like, yes, I just have to
say, I mean, I think across the board, I think the casting gets 5 stars for me throughout this whole movie.
True.
I think casting is great.
Yeah.
Do you know that, what's her name? From Pitch Perfect. I'm blanking on her name. Is J. Jonah Jameson's secretary, who also Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks
Yeah.
actually auditioned to be Mary Jane, which I think that would have been good too. I don't know how old she was at that point, but she does seem like, wait, were you too old for that? But regardless,
actually,
she would have been a great Mary Jane as well.
I forgot she was in these movies until
She's
at one
barely
point I was rewatching like Spider-Man 3, I think, with Venom and stuff, and like I saw her in there. I was like, "What? Elizabeth Banks is in this movie?
What are you doing in this?"
I was totally forgot. But anyway,
all right, I have a going off on a tangent question for you,
please.
Which is this: if you are Spider-Man,
yes,
do you try to do the keep it all a secret and not tell your loved ones so that they don't get kidnapped by Green Goblin or whatever? Or do you tell certain people? How many people do you tell?
I was literally going to ask you this one question too. Like, if you're in this movie and you discover you have powers, who and how many people do you tell? I feel like this movie bears out that not telling people does not protect them from from evil. Like Green Goblin, like both. I mean, I think his Aunt May, like he takes his Aunt May captive or threatens her.
It's not knowing that hurts them. It's just that they're connected to you in any way. And as soon as they find your identity, whether you've talked to them or not,
I feel like
unless they go into witness protection.
If I was Spider-Man, I would tell Aunt May, like on maybe day 2, like, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like a spider now. Like I would tell her, and like in real life, I would tell like my immediate family because like
Aunt May knows, like Aunt May gathers, right? She gives like a wink and a nod. I think at some point in time,
maybe in like the 3rd movie, maybe.
I think she knows.
But it takes a while. I also think it's hilarious how Aunt May gets younger with every Spider-Man reboot. Like that's like an ongoing trope. Like it was Sally Field in The Amazing Spider-Man, then it was Marissa Tomei. Like next it's gonna be. Oh,
you're right.
Yeah. It's like Aunt May gets younger and younger every time they reboot it. So
it's a fellow teenager, Aunt May.
It's gonna be a teenager next time. But I don't know. Who would you tell? Would you keep it a secret? Would you have a secret identity?
I sort of like the way Tom Holland does it. He's got his friend.
Right. You got Ned.
He's got Ned.
Zendaya,
and Aunt May knows.
Aunt May knows, yeah. And he's got Happy.
And Tony Stark knows. I would definitely tell Tony Stark.
I would 100% tell Tony
if
Stark.
there are other superheroes, for sure, I go tell them right away.
Absolutely.
If we're in like the Avengers stuff, I think that would be enough. I think the best friend, obviously, if you have a love interest, I feel like they have to know. Now,
sure,
it's got to be a serious love interest. You don't
want to be
bust that out on date number 2.
No, it's got to be someone.
If they're in it for the long haul, I mean,
right? You got to be in like you would tattoo their name on your arm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to be serious.
Now that's how Green Goblin does find them. I probably wouldn't tattoo my loved ones in order of importance on my arm.
Exactly. Bad
just so
guys.
he can cross it out.
Don't get Aunt May, Mary Jane. Yeah, that's true. That's good.
Now, are you committed to fighting crime for sure? If you have Spider-Man powers? I mean, I know with great power does come great responsibility.
That is the name. That is the quote. Yes.
But I mean, how much crime do you have to fight?
I mean, I feel like you got to fight some crime. Like if you don't fight any crime, I feel like you're gonna have some guilt build up. Like plaque, you're gonna have some guilt build up over time around your heart.
Guilt is like plaque. Floss it with forgiveness.
The show's over. Terrible. You got to fight some crime. I'm not saying you have to go over. You have to like fight in wars and stuff, or like take on heavily armed people. You don't have to do that. But I think, purse snatchers. Maybe some thievery. Some
the whole purse snatching thing. Unless you're Bruce Wayne and basically have hijacked the Gotham surveillance system. Right. Or you are Superman and can hear all cries of dismay. I do think it's probably hard to find petty crime taking place live.
That's true. That is true. You can probably find some carjacking if you go to certain places, but
probably find some carjacking. Sure.
I would think. But I don't. Where would you go? Would you do the police scanner thing? Because that's what he does. Spider-Man is always listening on the police scanner. He's got the police scanner.
Right.
That's what you got to do. That's what the Incredibles do. Spider-Man does it. You got the police scanner.
Seems like it's probably not that easy to just be like, hey, it's 44th and 7th. There's a giant lizard.
I mean, you'd probably see that on social media. You scroll Twitter. That's how you find the
Twitter.
There you go. Scroll Twitter. That's how you find the worst of humanity. Anyway, let's rate this movie. This is the first Spider-Man. Oh, we didn't really rank our favorite Spider-Mans either.
Yes.
So of the three,
I teased it.
You got Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. I feel like Andrew Garfield has had like a resurgence of popularity since No Way Home. Like everyone loves Andrew Garfield now. But also like Tom Holland is, he's great. He's great. I don't even know how you would do this. I feel like this is going to be very controversial.
No, I'll say it. I mean,
you're just going to say
this will be out there I'll just say it. How about?
Say it? Okay, just say it. Just say it.
I'm going to say it is Tobey Maguire.
As number 1 or 3?
Oh, I'm starting at the top. Okay. Tobey Maguire as the best.
Okay.
Andrew Garfield as the second best. And Tom Holland as the third best.
That's what you're going with, huh?
Well, and here's why. I can't help but feel like that Tom Holland every once in a while seems to be doing a really great impersonation of Spider-Man. And I think his movies are far better than Andrew Garfield's movies and far better than Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Maybe better than Spider-Man 1.
Maybe. Spider-Man 2 is still like great.
But
there's
a disconnect with Tom Holland, and I think here's what I need. A little bit more awkwardness in my Peter Parkers. In that specific Spider-Man. I think charm has to be low, and charisma actually has to be a little bit low too, but they become Spider-Man. Tom Holland has too much. He kind of does the aw shucks and like
he's too cool for school. Is what you're saying? He's too cool.
in general, I think he's too winsome as a person as Peter Parker. And I feel like Peter Parker has to be somebody who, when approaching a professor to try to get to turn in the paper late, or I need to know that my Peter Parker can get fired from pizza delivery. And that person wouldn't be like, well, of course I'm not going to fire you. You're like a super charismatic, like hard-working individual. I need Peter Parker to kind of be not that cool.
Okay,
and I feel like Tom Holland exudes too much coolness.
I'm going to do it this way. This might be breaking the rule. I'm going to rank best Peter Parker, best Spider-Man.
In that case, Tom Holland, best Spider-Man.
Wait, hold on. Well, yes. Okay, so best Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. That is the Spider-Man side of the character in the movies. Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire.
Andrew Maguire, Tony Garfield, Tobey Garfield.
Best Peter Parker, I would say Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then Andrew Garfield is in the middle of both. Like best, like overall middle, Andrew Garfield's
overall middle. Yes.
Overall middle.
I think I'm kind of with you. I mean, Spider-Man as Tom Holland captures the snarky voice while he is fighting,
doing the
while
action,
he's doing action. Yeah. He's doing the funny things like from the cartoons.
But he's got some moves.
The one-liners.
He's got cool moves. Yeah.
Yes. In general, I would take him as Spider-Man. I think the Spider-Man performance in Civil War was an amazing Spider-Man performance as well. Like him coming into the Avengers and be like, "Hey, everybody, it's me." We're saying our names now.
But also, like the three of them together in No Way Home. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, which I mean you have to know by now. Like the chemistry between the three of them is just one of the most wonderful things. Like to see them all engaging with each other. Like, again,
and we are only talking. Obviously, we're only talking about live action Spider-Man at the moment.
But
I think we're probably going to get a Miles Morales live action at some point in time.
I would like to talk about Across Spider-Verse. I mean, I'm sure my kids have some thoughts too, but you need to see it.
Yeah,
you saw the first. Well, we actually reviewed the first one.
We did
on this podcast,
and we liked it. We thought it was
we liked it very much.
Avant-garde.
I would be very curious your thoughts on this next one because we just saw it.
Okay,
not giving anything away. Won't give anything away. I'm going to rank Spider-Man, just Spider-Man, no qualifications, from 2002, 3 out of 5 stars. Solid 3, solid start to the trilogy and launching the whole phase of Spider-Man. 3 stars.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's going to get a nostalgia bump for me, and a really good, right amount of scary, but not too scary bump for me. I would say if people haven't seen a single comic book movie ever, this would be in my top 5 of get you started. Like get you going.
It's a good get started. Yeah, it's a good get started.
It would pepper. I would flavor it in with the Dark Knight, if on the darker side. The Spider-Dash Man.
First
X2,
Iron Man.
Maybe
X2.
the first Iron Man.
Sure.
That kind of stuff.
All right, I'm gonna tell people where to follow us, but when I finish that, I need you to do your best Willem Dafoe Green Goblin impression. All right,
we're just going to do scary characters at the ends of these.
Just think of a line.
I was scared. My own
voice.
Joker impression last time scared me listening.
It was
terrifying. I didn't like that 10 seconds of pause. I'll be honest.
Trigger warning, and you heard the music, right? You heard the music underneath it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Just saying.
I don't know if I can do a Willem Dafoe, so we'll see.
You could say, "Do you know how much I sacrificed?" or whatever that is.
While you do that, I'll pull up a quote.
And he's going to find a quote. And listen, don't worry. I'm going to put this after the outro music, after some seconds, so you don't get creeped out by Nate's voice. But here's what you're going to do. We had an amazing bonus episode today talking about our travels. I flew to Tel Aviv recently, talking about some plane stories, baggage stories. Very good. You can go to patreon.com/movies on the side. You can subscribe, support the show there. Just support the show, just to support the show. But then you get access to all those bonus episodes. So you can do it there. Or directly in Apple Podcasts, you can subscribe right there, and you'll see the bonus episodes interspersed with the full episodes. Some say, like our friend Jason Aten, say that those are actually like the best content are the bonus episodes. So I encourage you to do that. And also, Instagram at Movies on the Side. Comment there, movies ideas. And yeah. Oh, no, he's getting ready. He's getting into character. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. And as we always say,
wake up, little spider. So you're not dead yet, just paralyzed. You're an amazing creature, Spider-Man. You and I are not so different.
That's very good.
I'm not like you. You're a murderer.
Well, to each his own. I chose my path. You chose a...
I don't know how to do this.
That was
I don't
good.
know how to do Green
That
Goblin.
started good.
Think
That
about
was
it,
good.
hero.
That was good.